It seems like recently my DMs on Instagram are being flooded with the question of what do I do when I am uninspired and I feel lost in my life? And I feel like this is a common thread that is going on in the universe right now. So today on the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, we're going to be talking about what you can do when you're feeling uninspired and feeling lost so that you can get those creative juices flowing again and start to manifest more things that are going to align with you living your best, happiest, healthiest, and wealthiest life. What's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, the podcast that demystifies all of the nonsense that surrounds manifestation and gives you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, professional, and spiritual growth journey. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation and money mindset expert, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's fucking do this thing. What's up, y'all? Spring has officially sprung in New York City, and I'm so here for it. The longer days and the warmer weather just has completely unlocked so many things inside of me, and that's why on today's podcast episode, I really want to talk about what it's like to be uninspired, what it's like to feel lost, and what you can start to do, at least some of the things that I have done to help me move through periods of time where I have felt uninspired or I have felt lost. Because first and foremost, I want you to know that if you're listening to this podcast episode because you saw the title of it and you're like, yup, that's me, I do not feel inspired, I feel lost in some sort of capacity, you are not alone. If you listened to the last podcast episode, literally just went through a period of time where I was feeling very uninspired and somewhat lost in the direction of which way I was taking things. And now, after doing some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about in this podcast episode, I have been able to reignite so much fire inside of myself. Honestly, like not even reignite fire, but like build a fire inside of myself to create so many incredible things that, again, I'm super excited to share with y'all soon, and also just bring a new energy to what I am already putting out into the universe and the way that I am engaging and connecting with other people. So, like I mentioned in the intro to this podcast episode, this is one of the most common questions that has been flooding my DMs on Instagram recently of what can I do when I feel uninspired? What can I do when I feel lost? How do I manifest when I'm in that state of being uninspired or being lost? Because there is this massive misconception that you're incapable of manifesting what you want during those periods, and we will talk about why that is not true. But with that being said, before we dive into this, if you are new to the world of manifestation, or if you are needing like the actual solid foundational pieces of manifestation, you feel like you never actually got that because there's so many confusing aspects to manifestation and so many resources that make it this big confusing thing. One of the greatest things that you can do for yourself is buy the No Bullshit Manifestation Starter Pack. This is a signature program that I've created that is a self-paced course that gives you all of the tried and true foundational methods for manifestation. Inside of the No Bullshit Manifestation Starter Pack, you have literally everything that you need to know in order to build this rock solid foundation for manifestation to then start calling the things that you desire into your life and work yourself up to the place where manifestation truly feels so natural and so easy to you. And another fun thing with the No Bullshit Manifestation Starter Pack is that if you've been considering joining the Abundant AF Babe Academy, which is my other signature program, you are given a $500 discount by joining the No Bullshit Manifestation Starter Pack for when you choose to later invest in joining the Abundant AF Babe Academy. And enrollment for the Academy is going to be coming up again in a few months. So perfect timing to do the starter pack so that you can learn all of these foundational skills for manifestation to then manifest the money to invest in the Academy or manifest whatever it is that you desire. So with that being said, going back into today's podcast episode of what you can do when you are feeling uninspired and feeling lost. So instead of just talking at you and telling you the things that you can do, I actually want to share deeper into the experience of what was going on for me, like I talked about in the last podcast episode, when I was feeling very confused, lost, uninspired, and what I started to do to open myself up to new ideas and inspiration, and now completely feel like a different person and moving in a direction that completely inspires me and lights me up. So to sum it up, but if you didn't listen to the last podcast episode, I highly suggest that you do so. But what we talked about in the last podcast episode is essentially how I came to this position in the middle of February where I had manifested all of the things that I had wanted to manifest and was kind of like, do I actually want any of this? Like, do I feel good within what I've created so far? Are there things that need to change? And the obvious answer to me was like, yes, there are things that need to change, but I don't know what. I feel kind of lost. I feel uninspired in how to create that change. And the weeks following that had been my process of, okay, like, how do I sort through this? How do I work through this? How do I change direction? And how do I cultivate inspiration and purpose when I'm actually feeling kind of funky, not really feeling like the best version of myself? And so within that process, there's a few different things that I did. First one was I allowed myself space. I think one of the biggest things that our society does and teaches us and ingrains us into is the belief that we always need to be moving quote unquote forward in order for us to make progress or in order for things to change in our lives. But I think the reality is, especially for a lot of us in America, is that we're moving so quickly and always creating and doing and making more noise in our lives. And within that, there's no space for inspiration to rise to the surface or for purpose to rise to the surface. So one of the most powerful things that you can actually do for yourself is take this step back and allow yourself to minimize. Literally, like, I get to the place where I minimize my daily load to the bare minimum. And I know that that's so counterintuitive to what a lot of personal development gurus are going to tell you. But I think, again, it's really just this outdated and masculine structure for how we're supposed to do things, when in reality, what our bodies, what our minds, what our spirits are oftentimes trying to pull us towards when we're hitting that wall or we don't have inspiration or we feel lost is to slow the fuck down. And in slowing the fuck down, you're able to finally see, finally assess what's working and what isn't. Because when you're moving at 1,000,000 miles a minute, there's no way to tell what is working and what is not. When we're moving around so frantically and in such a high-paced, stressy environment, it's hard to see what is actually working for us and what is not. So by allowing yourself to take that step back, slow down, get to the place where truly you are just doing the bare minimum, whatever that looks like for you. If that's getting out of the bed in the morning, eating breakfast, brushing your teeth, sitting on the couch, and literally doing nothing else until your next meal or whenever it may be, allow yourself the time and space to do that. I say this to my clients so often, and it's often met with so much resistance because, again, as a culture, as a society, we are so hardwired into believing that this is wrong, this is bad, this isn't going to be the thing that allows me to move forward. But that is absolutely not true. And in my personal experience, I want to share as well, like when I first was introduced to this idea, I was like, no. Absolutely not. That's like gonna take away all my progress. That's gonna put me back in a place that I don't want to be. That's me taking steps backwards. But the reality of it is, what got you here? What got you to the place that you're at right now, the life that you have, the things that you've manifested, and this position of feeling stuck or uninspired in whatever capacity? What got you here isn't going to get you to your next level. Things have to shift, things have to change. And while your brain has created a understanding of efficiency, of how you've been doing things, and that being the only way that you can continue to do things moving forward in order for it to be quote unquote efficient, there's actually more efficient ways for you to get to your next level. But if you continue to operate in the same patterns over and over and over again, you're not going to allow yourself the time or space to be able to figure out what that new way of efficiency is. You're not going to be able to reprogram the beliefs that you don't have to work hard, you actually just have to work smart. That things get better and better for you, that it gets to be easier than how things are playing out for you right now. But again, when you're moving so quickly or you're operating within the old model of efficiency, you don't allow yourself the space to call in the new and to create something different for yourself. And this is why our brains have so much resistance to it, because it's like you've formed this model for efficiency in your life thus far. And it's gotten you the things that you have in your life thus far. So you doing something opposite of that, you doing something that counteracts that or is counterintuitive in some sort of way, of course your brain is going to scream at you and say like, do not do that. This is wrong. You shouldn't be resting. You shouldn't be hanging out. You shouldn't be lying around. You shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z, because your brain is doing its job. It's literally trying to keep you safe. And that's what our body's number one job is to do. Try and keep us safe. Always maintain homeostasis. So you choosing to do something different, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. And that's okay, because the reality is you can stay stuck, lost, uninspired, or you can allow yourself to stop, rest, and be uncomfortable. Because in the discomfort, in the pressure of allowing yourself that space, it opens up opportunity for so many other things. And that's where some of the things that I'm going to be talking about come into place. But what I want to say, and a lot of times this is what I come back to when I feel so uncomfortable by allowing myself to rest, or when I feel like there's pressure coming down on me by taking this moment to slow down and reassess what is going on in my life. Diamonds are made from pressure. Diamonds are made from pressure. So when you are under the pressure because you are doing something different than you have in the past, you're changing your definition of efficiency and your brain hasn't come on board with it yet, pressure is creating those diamonds. Those diamonds are the ideas, the inspiration, the passion, the purpose that you're wanting to move towards, but you can't get to those things without the pressure. And again, this is something that I don't think is talked about enough. I don't think people want to tell you that it's going to be uncomfortable or it's going to be hard or it's going to be any of the things to get to what feels so inspired for you, because we like to try and minimize what feels quote unquote bad or wrong or negative in any sort of capacity. But that's all based off of judgment. This is actually something I was talking about last night with the concierge in my building. He's like one of my besties. I fucking love him. Shout out Dwayne. I don't think you listen to my podcast, but Dwayne, you are the man. And we were standing there talking about how, for me, I'm moving in a really powerful direction right now. And again, I'm so excited to share it with you guys when I can, but I cannot yet. But we were talking about the direction that I'm moving in, and that this is a byproduct of this sort of manic breakdown that I had back in February and the beginning of March, and this period of time where I allowed myself to do nothing. And we were actually laughing about how he didn't see me for like a full week because I was in my apartment allowing myself to slow down, didn't want to go outside because New York felt so overstimulating. And he was like, is she here? Did she go on vacation? But then he would see delivery being brought up to my apartment. So he's like, what the fuck? She is here. What is going on? But within that, we're talking about how that breakdown, whereas in the past, I would have perceived it as something bad, or other people could look at it and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, that's awful that you went through that. That's such a bad thing, X, Y, and Z. No, it was actually an incredibly positive experience because it was the breakdown before the breakthrough. And oftentimes we have to allow that pressure to come down on us and have that uncomfortable experience in order for the diamond to arise from it, in order for clarity to come to the surface on whatever it is that is going to allow you to live a more inspired and fulfilling life. And so I say all of this not to scare you and be like, you have to go through shitty times in order to manifest what you want into your life, because that's not inherently true. But what I will say is, if you're feeling uninspired and if you're feeling lost, I can imagine there's probably some level of pressure. There's probably some level of heaviness, of getting honest with yourself, of assessing what is working in your life and what is not, taking stock of what is happening, and having that moment so that you can actually then move forward. Because if you ignore those things, they will continue to make their presence known. They'll make their way into your life in some sort of form. And I like to see this in the way of, like, first they show up as a feather. It's a little whisper. It's a little push nudging you towards the fact that things need readjusting. And if you ignore the feather, it'll show up as a brick. And that brick will hit you and it'll be like, oh, fuck, that hurt. But if you ignore the brick, then it's going to show up as a Mack truck. And that Mack truck will rock your fucking world. So what I am saying is, before the Mack truck comes, before it rocks your world, allow yourself the time and space. Allow yourself to get uncomfortable. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's not wrong. It's not negative. It's not bad. It's not going to fuck up your manifestations. It's literally just a part of the human experience. And if you can come at it with this perspective of, okay, this is just a part of the human experience. Like, it's okay for me to experience pressure. It's okay for me to experience heaviness. It's okay for me to have these challenging thoughts and emotions and whatever it may be, because I know this is leading me to greater things. I know that there's always some sort of breakdown before a breakthrough. I know that every time that I crack open, the sun shines through, the light shines through, and new parts of me are illuminated, and inspiration comes back into my life and reignites me in ways that I couldn't have been reignited without otherwise. That's the belief system that I have. That is what grounds me in those moments where things feel really fucking hard, is because I've seen time and time again that after the challenging moments are the most beautiful moments of my life. The Universal Law of Polarity comes into play and allows us to be met on the other side of those challenging moments with the highs. And again, I just want to share this because I think that a lot of the times in the world of wellness and personal development and manifestation and whatnot, we're always looking to a quick fix. We're always looking to a cure. We're looking for an affirmation or a mindset shift or whatever it may be in order to move us from point A to point B and, quote unquote, help us feel better. But the reality is if you do not assess the underlying roots that have created that disconnect or frustration or feelings of stagnancy or lack or lost in your life, then those things are going to continue to come back. So instead of allowing them to come back as the feather, the brick, or the Mack truck, you can give yourself the time and space to address what is actually going on so that you can continue to move forward. And in moving forward, this is the fun part that you're probably actually looking for on this podcast, but I always have to go there. I have to be real. I have to be transparent with you guys in the fact that this journey towards becoming the best version of yourself, having the best possible life that you can have in this human body, it's not always going to be fun and it's not always going to be easy. But again, that doesn't have to be something bad. That can be something that there's just this radical acceptance for, a total okayness for. Because when you can have that okayness for it, it makes it so much fucking easier to move through these inevitable human moments. So, okay, off my high horse, off this little rant, I'm going to get my journal and open it up so that I can read exactly the prompts and the questions that I write down in my journal every single day in these moments of taking that step back, creating that space so that new inspiration can come through. Okay, so if you listen to the podcast, you will know that I am a huge advocate for building a connection to the universe, God, spirit, source, whatever it may be for you. So within these journal prompts, the thing that I really suggest you connect to when you are feeling lost or uninspired is the universe, is God, is spirit, is source, because we are an extension of God. We are an extension of the universe. And when we can call on this higher power and call to this part of ourselves that we're divinely connected to, then we open ourselves up to receiving universal intelligence, to receiving God's answers, to coming home to ourselves in a way that maybe wouldn't have been possible if you were to try and figure it out by yourself and just go into go, masculine mode and making it happen like American society teaches us to do, and really just coming home to the infinite intelligence that is available to us at all times. So 3 questions that you can write down in your journal right now, and I highly suggest you write these down, you pause as you go along, and you come back to them on a day-to-day basis. I wouldn't say they're questions. They're like questions / declarations. They're things to start to build that universal intelligence and really trust and listen to your intuition to guide you towards bigger, better, more inspired things in your life. So every single day, when I was going through my little breakdown moment and wanted some more inspiration and guidance in my life, I would write down in my journal first, universe, show me how good it can get. Second, universe, guide me towards the exact people and opportunities that will illuminate my soul's purpose. And third, universe, allow me to receive the ideas and guidance to take action on what will lead me towards having the happiest, healthiest, and wealthiest life. Every single day. And then I would wait. I would wait for inspiration to strike. I wouldn't force myself to write anything down on the journal if nothing was there. I would just wait. I would write the prompts out, and then I would wait for inspiration to strike. And sometimes it happened within moments. Sometimes it happened within hours. Sometimes it happened within days. Sometimes it happened within weeks. I still have it coming through after, I can imagine, all of the journal work that I was putting in during that period of time where I was creating space for myself. But the key is to wait. Because it's not, again, about forcing and trying to figure out and all of the things. It's about slowing down and getting in touch and getting in tune with what is already divinely inside of you, because you have all of the answers inside of you. Every single thing that you need to manifest the life that you desire for yourself already lives and exists inside of you. It's just a matter of slowing down and getting quiet enough to listen. And this is one of the most powerful things that you can do for you creating the life that you desire for yourself, as well as what we're talking about on this podcast of getting unstuck, finding that inspiration, and stepping towards whatever it is that is going to illuminate your soul's purpose. You don't have to force, you don't have to push, you don't have to try and figure out all of the answers. They're already inside of you. Also, sorry for the sirens, LOL, at New York City. But that's what I have for you, is like, get in touch with yourself, get in touch with the universe, get in touch with God, allow yourself this space and this time to approach things in a different light than you normally would. Because if you're trying to spark inspiration by doing the same things, or you're trying to connect to a sense of purpose and not feeling lost by doing the same things, by staying in the grind, by operating in the ways that you have, then that's not going to shift the energy in which things are going in your life right now. You must switch things up and allow yourself to approach things differently than you have. And like I said, I believe that you have the answers inside of you right now. Not only do I believe, but I know you have the answers inside of you right now. So if you can create that space for yourself and ask these questions and be patient in listening for what comes up as inspiration arises, and then acting accordingly and taking action and writing them down or whatever it may be as that follows, that is going to lead you to feeling inspired yet again, to getting unstuck, to connecting to your purpose, and ultimately moving in a path that feels really aligned and fulfilling for you. So that's what I have for you on today's podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions whatsoever, let me know. You can message me on Instagram. And like I said, if you are wanting to get that foundational understanding of how you can manifest in your life, you can join the No Bullshit Manifestation Starter Pack. The link to join is down below. And I'll chat with y'all on the next podcast episode, sending you all of my love.